podcast is brought to you exclusively by the Rad Rob Radio Network. Welcome to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. A hard-hitting, in-depth, cutting-edge look into the world of bowling. This podcast will not only cover all things bowling, but will also give you a raw look into real-life issues. You'll get unfettered access into the mind of one of the most gifted bowlers of this or any other generation. So without further ado, let's introduce you to the hosts of the show. Rad Rob Francois. Rad Rob Francois. Dr. Ocho. And the incomparable Johnny Petraglia Jr. Johnny Petraglia Jr.
Hey guys, welcome back to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. Yes, there's only half of me. Don't even ask. It's a long story. We are live here on Facebook on Johnny Petraglia's Facebook page and on our YouTube channel. If you are not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please go there and search Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. and please subscribe to our channel. We have lots of videos to watch in the archives. But what's more importantly, I need to introduce my co-host. He has the shiniest mask in the world. I mean, I can't limit Johnny. I can't limit you either, right? So he is the resident doctor of Straight Up 5. He is the second best bowler on this show. I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that. It is the one and only Dr. Ocho. Good evening, sir. And
I was wearing masks before they were even
go.
cool. That's the problem. The masks used to be cool, and then this rotten thing took place, and now they're not cool. You know, the intro says we tackle bowling, the planet of bowling. I got all that and life issues. That should even go into detail. I mean, we've had professionals on here that they don't like say, hey, what were you thinking in the 10th? You know, like everybody asks that stupid question. We had Johnny Petraglia Sr. talking about chopping up nachos with his hammer fists. We've had Brianna Clemmer talking about my biceps and how I can get these out of the ball return. We had Marshall Kent talking about how when he eliminates in the morning, that's a plus 200 dump, they call it. Meaning he's so light on his feet, he's going 200 over. He's going to bowl way, way, way good. People have never asked these questions. I do. We do. You do. We all do. Bring him in.
Goddamn right we do, Ouch. Joining us is the third member of the team. He is the man with the name on the marquee. He is the one that everybody here comes to see. Well, except for Bear. He comes to see Ocho.
Were you rhyming?
Did I really? I didn't even try.
The man that everybody comes to see, the man on the marquee.
Oh, yeah.
Just go eat some pea.
Where's
the comments?
Nobody's commenting. So how do you
That's
like that?
not true. There's no way.
Dude, it literally says new comments will be displayed here. Do you see any fucking comments on the screen?
No, because you probably screwed something up. Are we private? Can anybody see us? Comment if
private.
you can see us.
Joining us is the one and only Mr. Johnny Petraglia Jr. Hello, Johnny. Brooklyn Rob's here. See you.
Thanks, Rad Rob, and thanks, Brooklyn Rob. Thank you guys both. I'm still.
Nobody wants to talk to us. I mean, it's fine. So
it's early. It's early.
About the great intro that I had to pull because Rad Rob says the same thing. Hey guys, welcome back to Straight Up 5. I'm here, and you're here, and we're all here. Look at him go, shiny mask, handsome guy, Rad Rob. Rad Rob.
At least he's consistent.
Yeah, once a year.
At least that much. What's up, Alex? Anyway, I'm sorry that we were not live last week, guys. That's totally on me. As you all know, probably at this point, I have a compressed disc in Doc. I don't know where it is. It's right by my ass. What is that? S1.
I thought it was L5S1. I think I forget, but lower, way low, and it's catching the nerve for sure. And that nerve is firing that piriformis muscle, the fun ass muscle.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Anyway, whatever Ocho just said, this is the first time I've been on my front side in a few weeks. So standing is still a bitch, sitting is still a bitch, but I can at least this week I'm not forced to lie on my back, so at least I can see the camera without having to hoist it on something.
We already got people
Quickly,
putting
Rob.
their info on our freaking. Oh, that's him. Oh, never mind.
Rob, where can we find your articles, sir? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah,
His last name
absolutely.
Poor Shed.
Johnny, it's good to see you, buddy. I'm
Oh.
Good to
glad
see you guys too.
you're doing better. We had a great show recorded on Monday night. If you guys don't listen to our other podcast, it's a podcast.
Hoo.
It's a card playing podcast. RTW Rewind is our retro show. Hey, Nicole's here. Put up your guns, buddy. Hello,
She's
Nicole.
only saying
Welcome to the
hi,
show.
everyone, just to be nice. But let's.
He's still growing. Anyway, continue.
RTW Rewind is our
wait.
retro show, and we talked about our favorite foods. We talked about Johnny's gas emissions. We talked about Ocho not liking certain cheeses. So it's good stuff. It's really good stuff. Mike Val's in the house. What's up?
Yeah, for all of our listeners, speaking of Mike Val, Mike is actually starting his own show coming next
Jesus
week. I
Christ,
think he
everyone's
just
got their own
announced it today, and I will be his very, very first guest. So, Mike,
Oh,
make sure
he didn't fucking ask. He didn't ask me. He calls Ocho the goat, but you're the first.
Me and Mike and I go way back, and he kissed you, even though you know him longer. This is unreal.
Obviously,
All right.
not as far back as you thought, I guess.
Well,
Clearly.
that's fine. Fine, I know where I stand.
Uh-huh.
In any event, let's talk about Team USA in Queensland, Australia, really quick. The singles bowlers had a pretty good time. We got AJ Johnson, Jacob Buttriff. They moved to the next round. They joined Chris Prather and Kyle Troop. AJ Johnson beat Jason Belmonte 266 to 258. But in the very next game, not so good. Him and his opponent shot like 190 to 170 or whatever. So, Johnny, how do you fall off that many pins between games?
I haven't been following Team USA. I just know that both our men and women are doing fantastic so far. But I mean,
that's got to be lane breakdown or something, right? I mean, these guys just don't forget how to bowl.
We also don't know if they changed pairs and patterns. It is a world event. I mean, I don't know enough of the rules because I haven't been following much.
I'm assuming they skip lanes. Like,
I mean, this is the world of bowling. So
if it's individual match play, head-to-head matches, then yeah, you would assume they're switching pairs every game. Maybe not necessarily patterns, but I mean, in any regular cross, if you're bowling 8 games of match play, you could very easily bowl 260, 260, 270 for 3 games. Make the turn, and in game 4 you hit the worst pair in the house that was broke down horribly in bowl 160. It happens all the time. It's actually completely normal. So it's to me, if 2 big guys like that, like AJ Johnson and Belmo, are going 260, 180, the odds are they crossed and hit a bad pair, or the motion that they saw in the previous pair, they fell for the tees and believed it would be there just a pinch too long, and then spent half a game chasing for something.
Which is part of that. Isn't part of that why that you were saying, because of that variable alone, that we'll never truly understand that's why it can't be in the Olympics. Not that it can't, but why it's probably not in the Olympics so far. That I know there's those other variables, like the door opening, things like that, but that's one of the things I would think, because it isn't a level playing field at that point, right?
Again, we can talk about the Olympics and bowling all day. To me, the number one reason why it wasn't in the Olympics was because it wasn't an equal playing field for everyone. Like, for instance, the pole vault. Everybody's going over the same height bar with the same length pole, right?
In the same conditions, in the same everything, yes.
When they're doing the floor exercise, they don't change the size of the floor because a person's 2 inches shorter. When they're on the rings, then they're on the rings. The guys do the high bar, the girls do the uneven bars. I mean, everything is the same in Olympic sports, the same length they swim in the pool. Bowling, the variables change frame to frame, and left arm to right arm, thumb in, thumb out. Lane conditions favor certain kinds of games. So that's a show. I mean, we could talk about bowling in the Olympics.
It was just an anecdote about, how it gets so wacky sometimes, and then then all of a sudden the ship gets righted. But technically, then candlepin bowling could be an Olympic event. No oil.
See, Now that one, that to me has a lot better chance than 10-pin bowling does, simply because in that game it doesn't matter what kind of ball you have. The name of the game is to figure out a way to make a spare and fill all your other boxes with tens. There is no curve in it, offset, weight blocks or anything. Everybody throws it 100 miles an hour at the head pin. And yeah, I agree with that. That has a better chance. But then again, in candlepin, you have to throw through the trash. In other words, the dead wood stays on the deck.
True.
So that actually
lot of
varies.
variable there too.
Definitely. Rob, thanks for that info. We'll certainly check out that article, man. Sounds great. Can't wait to hear it.
I probably won't.
Or read it, rather, I should say.
They will.
So I misspoke. AJ Johnson beat Belmonte 269 to 259. And in the next game, AJ bowled Josh Stretton of New Zealand. And that's when Johnson lost 200 to 195. So obviously switching lanes, he dropped that many pins. But still, it is good that Team USA.
This is a single elimination though, or something like he just lost the
World
match.
Cup. It's IBF. It's the IBF World Cup. So it's you play certain games. You're all in like A pool, B pool, C pool.
Gotcha.
It's just like soccer. Same rules.
The eye butt fuck player. Yeah, I got you.
The irritable bowel. Get it right. The women are also doing well. So they sent 3 women to the round of 16. We're looking at Stephanie Johnson. I hate bowl.com, for fuck's sake.
Well, aren't the internationals, the women, really spectacularly talented? Like, didn't they kind of commandeer the women's tour a little bit recently? Or am I making that up?
No, you're absolutely right. They are very, very, very strong. The international players, tons. Tanya Rampaport, God, I said her name wrong. Just off the top of my head, I mean, you have all the international players, not just like you have Clara Guerrero, Maria Rodriguez, you have Verity Crawley and Daria Payok. You have people from all over the globe. Shalin Zulkifli from Malaysia. They're everywhere, man, and they are so talented. It's absolutely insane. Don't go too nuts on this, Rob, because if we're going to even make it through half of what we got planned for tonight, we can't spend too much on this. So while you're hunting, I'm just going to say it's my fault. I haven't watched much of Team USA. If you're a bowler, check it out. We got 4 men and women in Australia, Queensland right now, kicking ass, competing for medals in the sport that we all love. And my co-host and I can't remember who the fuck are the other 3 women on the team.
Bowl.com sucks, and I have to read the whole fucking article to find out who the 3
someone else could post it then, I feel like.
It's Stephanie Johnson, Brianna Cote, and there's one other, Richard, I think. So
Jordan Richard.
So there you go. There's your news.
How good is she? She's so good. Thanks, Ray.
Very good. All right, so the topic of the day is Johnny's balls.
There you go. And Ray Smarsh just said Danielle McEwen. That was the point.
I know that dude, don't I?
Thank you, Ray.
Hell yeah.
Everybody knows Ray.
Hell yeah.
Okay, come on.
Pretty sure I remember him.
Johnny, you are going through your favorite balls, your top 20 balls of all time. You originally wanted to do 2000 to 2022, but nobody is good at cataloging in the sport of bowling or in the hobby of bowling, whichever you want to call it.
Skill.
So you went through and did your own research and just picked your top 20 in the last 25 years. We're going to cover the 20 through 10 tonight and then the rest next week. So if you want to start, we'll get off here with the.
Well, hang on. I want to hang on. I want to prep it with. I want to, because people can pick their most favorite balls of all time for several different reasons. My selections, and the reason I changed it to 25 years was because around 1996, 1997 was when I started getting good enough and cared enough about bowling balls. So each ball that I selected in my top 20 earlier today and these last few days when I was trying to pick my top 20 of all time, I'm sitting there and I'm going through my brain and I'm trying to remember what balls like felt the best on my hand. What balls could I remember throwing and where I was on the globe when I remember throwing a specific shot with one of these bowling balls. Right. And it opened up this whole fucking thing of going down memory lane. And each ball kind of represents a different point in my life related to the game. Aside from all the particulars, like we'll go over a couple different ones for each ball, but the main thing behind my selections was that they all brought back really, really awesome memories throughout my entire life in different stages of my life. now that I'm almost 40. So, yeah, if you want to get started, let's bring up number 20.
All right. Number 20 on the list is the Brunswick Avalanche Solid.
Yes, sir.
Already favoritism to Brunswick, but I guess that's kind of going to be the
hold on. That's
yeah, it's safe to
kind
say
of going to
it's
be detailed a little bit towards that, which I wouldn't know the difference anyway, even though I know everything.
it is safe to say that most of these are going to be Brunswick brand. Yeah, I was just going to say, keep flashing it as we talk about it. It's a good idea. Obviously,
Over you though,
I've been
Rob,
a
not
Brunswick
over us.
staffer.
Put it over. Can you put it over you and not us?
Well, he's already going to move him. He's going to move him to the bottom. So what's up?
Right on.
He's going to. So anyway, number 20 for me is the Avalanche Solid, and the reason that I remembered it was it was the first time that I had experimented with a generic bowling ball layout. I was always trying to swing the CG, doing far pins, and I always hated the idea of putting the pin at like 11 o'clock or say 1 o'clock for a right-hander. I thought it looked ugly. I thought it looked tacky. I thought it looked too generic. So I would never, ever, ever drill a bowling ball like that. I drilled that Avalanche side with that layout. And at the time, I was really trying to throw the ball like David Ozio. I was trying to be really pretty and smooth and like gentle, but somewhat aggressive at the bottom. And I drilled that Avalanche Solid. Thanks, Frank. I said earlier I can actually get up on my feet and move around for about 5 minutes, and I don't have to be on my back. So thanks for the well wishes. And I can't remember the name of the bowling alley, but I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go test this out, and I go bowl this tournament in Bayonne, New Jersey. I can't remember for the life of me what bowling center was.
That's testing the bowling ball out. You don't go to the bowling alley and throw it a few times or
Well,
something.
yeah, I'd thrown it for a while. I'd already.
All right, now
you
want to put it to. I got you. Now you want to see how it matches up to everybody else.
Adam?
Now it makes sense.
What's up, Adam?
Yeah, so I remember being in Bayonne and bowling a larger money match, and for me at the time, for me it was bigger dollars. And I was bowling against Joe Stillman, who at the time was throwing the virtual gravity against me, which Ray Smarsh put up in the chat earlier. Pretty sure it's no. I'm sorry, it wasn't a virtual gravity. I don't know if could have been if the years match up. I'm pretty sure that's what he was throwing. And we both had like 240 something to the wall. I had him a pin edge and count, and I get up in the 10th frame and I throw a double, and I whiffed the head pin on the fill ball with that Avalanche. I hadn't missed the pocket all day, and I left the rail. I left the 136, and I got 7. Joe Stillman was also a lefty, and anybody that knows Stillman, he was wearing a sneaker on one foot, and he had a Lynn's bowling shoe on the other foot, blue and gold toe, and it had a hole in the heel, like a complete hole through the leather all the way to his foot. It was flip flopping in the front like a duck. And he gets up in the 10th frame and he goes double 6 count, leaves the 136 with the 9 pin. Yeah, and that shoe went through the ceiling and his shirt went a couple lanes down, and that was the end. And then he shook my hand and said, "Good match," and that was the end of the match. So that was like the culmination of the Avalanche slide. I'm like, okay, this is one of my all-time favorite balls. And it stayed in my bag for a long time. Low-end ball, didn't cost a lot of money. And it wasn't oversensitive to oil, which was something that any higher rev player looks for. Thanks, Steph.
Stephanie is right. Your bowling memory.
Yeah, real quick, don't I?
And Adam's right. Don't bet against him at the 7-10 standing. What'd you say?
Don't I have that gravity one that he was saying? Is that the one
you have? I think you have the shift. He has the I'm pretty sure he was throwing the original virtual gravity.
Oh, so mine's even better. Got it.
Yeah.
All right. Johnny's number 19 favorite ball is the Brunswick Command Zone.
Oh, yeah. Most people favored the Command Zone Arc, which was the navy blue one that came out after this one. But this was at a time where, I don't know. I don't know if they were new or not, but I'd always use black or white finger grips, and they came out with pretty blue ones. And I loved the blue, and I put them into this plum purple ball. And at the time, at Carolier, Matt Menente was hosting a King of the Hill tournament every Friday. And it ran for X amount of weeks, for 12, 13 weeks. And I tried so hard to win it every week because we would bowl the step ladders against the gold PBA pins. So now we know it's like early 2000.
Oh, I'll tell you what.
And I remember the last week I finally made it to the title match again. This was my third attempt in bowling the title match against the Gold Pins, and I wound up winning and becoming the king of the hill of Carolier in Matt Menente's tournaments using that command zone. And as far back as I can remember, between the blue grips, they were a little bit oversized in the ball, and the thumb was a little bit too snug. So I really had to uncork it at the bottom if I didn't want it to stick on my thumb. So I guess it was nice to have a pearlized bowling ball that didn't go sideways when it saw friction. It kind of blended the oil and just kept going downhill for me. And I always, again, I'm a visual guy. So if I like the look of the bowling ball, I'm already like heading towards the bowling ball, you know?
Yeah.
So we'll put up JD's comment.
Sure.
Black Thunder was the best ball ever. Blue Thunder just because of the story that goes with it. Cobalt Rhino is third. End the show now. Nothing left to be said. He's talking about me in that post. The Cobalt Rhino. It was actually a Black Pearl Rhino, but thank you though. Yes, you're pretty on point. That's amazing that he remembers that. Stephanie's talking about my bowling mind. JD's talking about 25 years ago when I was running from my dad and hiding because I wanted a Blue Thunder so bad. Anyway, we'll talk about that in another show.
Number 18.
Whoa.
Time
out a second. Do you guys have any input here? Do you guys have any favorite, like, if I don't want to steal the entire show here going through 20 balls.
It's your show.
What's the light blue one I have?
The Wrecker? It's not
I like
light
that
blue.
one.
It's ivory, pearl, and blue.
With orange grips. I like that one.
Yeah, because the letters are orange. You're such a dork.
Everyone knows mine because I still have them.
692. Oh no, I didn't use it the other day. Shit.
Hi, Sherry. We're going through my top 20 bowling balls of all time because they've all produced, not specifically for the way they roll, yes, for the way they roll and all that good shit, but more so for the memories that are associated with recalling all of these bowling balls. So on the screen, we've gone through 20 and 19. You didn't miss much. Number 20 was the Avalanche Solid. Number 19 was the Command Zone.
And where's Cheeks? Where's Cutie Cheeks this week?
Don't worry. She won't leave you too long.
All right.
Go ahead, Rob. I'm ready. What's number 18?
Number 18 on the list is the Brunswick Time Zone.
All right. So the time zone was a sleeper ball. Not a ton of people threw this ball. During this time, Brunswick introduced asymmetric. I don't know if they necessarily introduced asymmetric cores, but they introduced a new idea on the marking of the balls to let everybody know that they were asymmetric. And what they did was right around the pin or the dot on the bowling ball, they put an elliptical around it. And depending on the way you shifted that elliptical would determine how much the weight block was supposed to turn over. So at this time in my bowling career, I had gone to no grips and I had razor sharp finger holes. And I distinctly remember loving the way the time zone rolled. So I drilled a second one. I drilled one with a super duper angle on the elliptical to make it skid flip. And I had one that was very generic, pin under the ring finger, pretty stacked. And the elliptical was, this way.
Did that dig your fingers up a bit at all or what?
Very
so
stable
it's just
drilling.
straight into the bowling ball, you're saying?
Yeah, like not quite as sharp as Norm Duke. Norm Duke actually takes his balls right off the drill press and
I don't even know. Oh, so there's no rounding them or anything
right. I would take say like a 480 grit sandpaper, something like not too coarse, a little bit more fine, and just touch the top. Just a little bit on the top to take away the razor sharpness, but still.
But it's also your fingers technically.
Thanks, Dan.
Round.
I'm getting much better, bro. I'm sorry. What'd you say, Oach?
Your fingers technically aren't round, though, right? Are they ovular shaped almost? The little holes?
I would drill I can't remember what drill bits I use. I want to say I was maybe my ring finger is a 25, 30 seconds drill bit, and my middle finger was a 49. My middle finger is a drill bit smaller than my ring finger, which is opposite of most people.
Wait a second. That's weird, dude.
But then what I would do is I would do a 30 thousandths of an inch cut lateral on both of the fingers to make them true ovals.
To make them a little ovular. Okay.
Yeah.
And it was comfortable though? Like, help me out here. I won't.
Yeah, you got to remember, man, this is like time zone is like, this is like 2000. So I'm still, what am I? 17 years old. So I'm
So
a
you
young
got
buck.
calluses from baseball. You're fearless. You can, do it. I got you.
Absolutely. So, and that was cool back then. And I wanted to be cool when I bowled, and it was cool to not use grips. The same way it's always been cool to throw 16 pounds.
Thought it was cool
You know,
to win.
it is cool to win, but when you're a kid, you want to do
I
anything
got
to
you.
be
Now
cool.
you have to do exactly what everyone else is doing. Of course, I throw 16-pound. Ocho has freaking 32-pound bowling balls. They don't fit through the ball return.
But the main thing that reminded me, other than that, is I love the time zone so much, and I took my first trip out to Vegas to bowl the mini eliminator, and I drove because, I just felt like driving across the country from New Jersey. And I had both of those time zones and a third ball in one of my triple rollers that I left in the paddock. And after I got eliminated from my match in the mini eliminator, I went back to the paddock and that bag had been stolen. So both of my time zones disappeared.
The bastard stole my time zones.
B, I'll be back. I'll be back as soon as his back heals up. It's I'm looking like possibly trying to throw a bowling ball in, say, 3 weeks, but
Let's see how this
who
epidural
knows?
works first, and then
I
we'll
got
go
the
from there.
epidural. Yeah, that's coming on Tuesday. I get the epidural. So
All right, Johnny.
So that's the time zones. I loved them and then I lost them. Go figure.
That's not all. Brunswick Siege is number 17.
Oh yeah. I drilled 3 of these puppies. Asymmetric. This is when I remember these balls again. No grips. This is when I roomed with Ryan Simonelli at the World Series of Bowling in Detroit. I remember.
What year is this about, ish?
2010.
Oh, okay.
I want to say, yeah, it was. That's whenever the year that Simonelli lost to Norm Duke in the Cheetah and Rhino beat Simonelli in the Viper. It was 2009 or 2010, whatever it was. Yeah, Dan, I'm not going to bowl the RPI, but I'll definitely be up there spectating. Justin Van Berkel, that's definitely my number 1 of all time. You just ruined my entire show. Thank you, Gator, all the way. What the hell was I just saying? The Siege, yeah. And I remember in the practice session watching the late, great Dave D'Entremont throwing that ball. He had drilled a few that week. And then Rick Benoit had laid a second one out for me because I already had one that I loved. And, yeah, that was a ball that stayed in my bag for a long time because it never seemed to absorb oil for me. I had one drilled pin on the axis where I made it into the finals in the Thunderbolt Arena of the initial sweeper to start the World Series. So just a lot of good memories. Oh, and this was a time in my bowling career when I was using thumb molds. We didn't have switch grips yet, and it was hard to replicate every single thumb. And when molds came out, the thumb hole on my Siege was the greatest feeling thumb hole I'd ever had, and I used that mold for probably 3 years in my bowling career. So number 17.
I just finally did that, by the way, with that orange ball
Siege.
that you guessed.
The orange ball. You have an orange ball now?
Yeah, no, a long time ago, a year ago, it was an orange ball, and you guessed what it was, but that's what my thumb hole is made out of now.
The Inferno.
Yes. Well, I guess so. I'm acting like, yeah.
I could be wrong as shit.
No, but I thought I showed it on one of the shows way back. It's not even here. It's in another house.
Still my candy.
They stole my time zone. Go ahead.
Number
so
16.
Far,
oh, sorry,
yeah.
John.
I was going to say, so far, ironically, I'm looking at this here. I got 3 solid cover stocks up there so far and 1 pearl.
Mm-hmm.
And the Avalanche and the Command Zone are both symmetric cores, and the Time Zone and the Siege are both asymmetric cores. Steve, that ball, I think that's a really, really good pick, Steve. Are you talking? Let me know if you're talking about the solid or the pearl. I'm very, very curious. Obviously, most people it's the solid, but the pearl was kind of a sleeper ball also that didn't get as much love as it should have. The gold one, that was a really, really awesome ball. And
apparently
Sherry
this dude can only bowl at 6 o'clock, though. I mean, what happens if it's 7 o'clock and you're in game 4? What does he suck then?
Sherry says that her hang on, I totally skipped. Yeah, wait, what were you talking? Did I just totally shut you out? Because I'm looking at the comments.
It says something about loving the bowling ball at 6 o'clock, and I get that it means how it's drilled, but I'm trying to crack a joke, and you gave me the worst fucking fake laugh ever.
I wasn't listening to you, so I just figured I should
Everybody
laugh.
knows that. I said, what happens at 7 o'clock when you're in game 3 or 4? Now he doesn't bowl good. He only bowls good at 6. That's stupid. That's why this game's a skill and not a sport.
Stupid.
I can hit a wiffle ball with the big bat at any time. 6 o'clock, 2 a.m., hammered, straight, anything.
Number 16. The Brunswick Attitude 3.
Oh, my gosh.
I had that bowling ball.
Oh, yeah.
I got it from Mike Floor, the bartender.
Well, tell us about it. Good.
I don't know. It was the first, second ball I ever had, I think, that was given to me. And my thumb grip was so good in that ball. I just liked that ball. An Attitude 3. Holy shoot. There was a 2 and a 1, I assume.
Yes, those were garbage.
No, they just
so
found
there you
given
go.
random fucking numbers to the.
I could tell you that was around 99 or 2000-ish because it's when I just started bowling. And then 2000. And Mike Floor was the bartender. And this may shock you. I used to go to the bar there. And
Oh, shit.
I know. And he said he had a bowling ball he didn't want because he didn't bowl. And someone gave it to him. So he gave it to me and I got it. And man, that's awesome. All right, good stuff.
I love that you share one. This is fantastic.
I love that I knew what that was.
Heck yeah. For me, my memory with this ball is I threw this ball in high school, which was, some of the best years of my life. Honestly, I absolutely loved high school. But it was also around the time where they started to introduce those finger grips. They were silver, and they were slightly more slippery than a standard finger grip. They weren't nearly as tacky. Back then, the white and the yellow grips were super duper tacky. A lot of guys would complain about how sticky they really were. So these silver grips come out along with the silver thumb slugs, which were also way less tacky. So at that time, the Attitude 3, the Regal Quantum, the Power Blitz, and the Emerald Blitz were all like pretty new releases from Brunswick. And on the day of the TV show, the Johnny Petraglia Open, my good friend, former work associate, and still kicking ass Dave Olm, Daddy-O, drilled me 2 of the Attitude 3s as well as a Regal Quantum on the PBA truck on TV day. And it was the first time I'd ever used those silver grips and the silver thumb. And I just remember it feeling not only fantastic on my hand with how quick my hand would get out of the ball, but how great the grip felt. Dave was the first person that ever cut me a true oval thumb hole. Up until that point, I basically worked out every thumb hole by hand. And it was incredible. And I have videos of throwing those balls on VHS back at mom and dad's house in Jersey. But up until this day, also, again, I'm a visual guy. And to me, that purple and ivory is about as sexy a blend as you can make. It was just always very, very appealing to the eye for me. And the ball always worked well for me. It was always a very, very controlled pearl that I could use pretty much from anywhere and always stay out of trouble. So it definitely earns a place in my top 20.
Number 15. The Brunswick Monster Smasher.
Come on, I got that free in a freaking fake tournament. Are you kidding me?
You had this one as well. Why do I remember you throwing this ball?
I got it because that was like I bowled a couple. I bowled.
By the way, time out. Do you both of you see me looking around the ball? Like
Yes.
Ocho?
Yes.
I'm doing it like I'm like. Oh wait, Ocho, can you see me now?
No, I can't.
I'm
You're the host
just
of the
doing
show.
it.
That's pretty funny.
I'm just completely doing it. I don't even realize I'm doing it.
That's professional
hilarious.
awareness right there. That is professional
All right,
awareness.
okay.
See,
It really is.
all I have is my fingers were here. The Monster Smasher. They gave us all. It was like this pro-am that you know the Mezzacappas, right? You know all them.
Of course.
Yeah. So they were like trying to help with this tournament, and they did this fun little pro-am, and Parker got a bunch of pros there, and everybody who bowled in it got a Monster Smasher bowling ball for free.
Interesting.
So again,
Cheeks is here, Ocho. So
Cheeks
you
is
can,
here?
you can, yes.
There she is.
Well,
All
I
right.
took a minute here because I missed Sherry's last comment because I totally fucked Butch over in the middle of his joke. Sherry, my Black Widow Ghost, we'll have to have an off-air convo because I don't want to interrupt the actual string of balls we got going here. But yeah, that is another ball that is I was extremely surprised at how much I love that ball too. I'm glad you like that too. And the Shimwrecker, you got to tell me what that ball does. I've seen a couple guys throw it from Big Bowling. I saw Ryan Simonelli throw it when they first came out, along with Rhino Page and obviously Marshall. But I'm curious what you think of that ball too. For me, the Smash R, obviously, again, looks. I'm a diehard New York Mets fan, so the ball's blue and silver, yeah, and it's got orange logos. So automatically, it's appealing to me. And this is in the no grip phase, sharp finger holes of my life, and I decide that I'm getting good enough and I'm comfortable enough that I'm going to bowl Tommy Semez's World Match Games marathon on New Year's Day.
You just sounded like Stuart Smalley, by the way. You were like, and I'm getting good enough and I'm smart enough and doggone it, people like me.
Deanna, as soon as I get done with my 15 story, while I'm doing that, tell us what you currently have in your arsenal in the chat, and then we can recommend something weaker for you. So I go and I'm pumped up to bowl Tommy's Match Games because it pays a lot of money. There's a lot of side action, and this is like my first big money adult tournament. And I remember that year Kyle Hartzell won throwing a tidal wave wipeout, and I wound up finishing 9th, and I bowled 280, 250, 260 somewhere back to back in the middle that were all bracket games, and I was throwing the Monster Smasher for the majority of the tournament. So my recollection is my biggest cash ever in one of my earliest adult tournaments, I threw that Monster Smasher predominantly most of the way. And anytime I drill more than one of a certain bowling ball, I really love it. With that Monster Smasher, I drilled multiples. So up there, I've drilled multiples of the Time Zone, the Siege, the Attitude 3, and the Smash R. I only had one Command Zone and one Avalanche Solid. But so far, 4 of those balls, I just realized this, I actually had multiples of. And that's my story.
Were you bowling no thumb the entire time with these balls?
So far, every ball you see up here is thumb in the ball.
Okay.
Every single one of these, not one of these balls has ever gone down the lane with my thumb not in the bowling ball.
Okay.
Which is kind of strange also now that I think of it.
Well, technically, the ball has to go down the lane without your thumb in it, because once it's past the foul line, none of your
very true
thumbs are in it. I mean,
well, here we go. All of these first 6 bowling balls not only had thumb holes, but my thumb was in them. And at that time, it could have been out of them even with a thumb hole because that was legal. All of these, that was legal. So
gotcha. Okay.
All right. I guess Deanna's still. Do we think she's checking her arsenal, or do we think
maybe she went to the car to the trunk to figure out what the balls are?
She probably has to go through the pictures of Ocho that she screenshotted first before she can get to the bowling balls that she has in her photos or something.
That must be it.
Of course.
Well, in that case, let's move on to 14, and we'll
get back to her. We're not. We don't ever leave Cheeks in the corner.
Come on.
Number 14, the Brunswick Fuse Eliminator.
Oh my God, I love that quality picture I found earlier.
That looks ugly. Great.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Yeah, I couldn't even find a better one either. So
yeah, it was.
Looks like you got it from the computer, like you actually on your computer video game from PlayStation, and you got that.
Well, anybody that ever threw a Fuse Eliminator knows what it is. The ball was solid blue, red letters. The Fuse logo was half red, half white, and it said Proactive. Now, Proactive means the cover stock was particle. At that time, Brunswick named their Axiom or their particle cover stocks. They called it Proactive. So you saw the Azure Zone Proactive series or the Proactive Zone series and all that stuff.
Or the Swamp Monster that I still have is Proactive.
Yes, exactly. Totally. The Jade Quantum, balls like that. The Fuse Eliminator, I had 2. I had one that was just my benchmark ball for years. The ball worked on absolutely everything for me. And then I drilled one with what was known at the time as Johnny weights, which is a variation of a Rico drilling, where you put the pin or the top of the weight block dead center of your palm, and then the CG is 45 degrees, is swung out 45 degrees on the positive side of the bowling ball. And then 6 1/4 inches down on that same line, you drill a massive weight hole. Can't use that layout anymore, but to me, it was pretty cool to see 2 balls do 2 entirely different things from one another. But I threw that one in there, because it was always a benchmark ball. And I remember winning the Semez Scratch Trio League at Carolier with Tommy and the late, great Tita Semez. Those were my teammates. So I was this young kid that would go strolling into league, still wearing my baseball uniform after school or after high school baseball was done. And I'd be bowling in my stirrups. And I distinctly remember that as long as I had my fuse eliminator, everything was okay.
Bowlers should wear stirrups. Dude, that's
Agreed.
You hit it. You hit it right there. Let's get a freaking uni. Stirrups are part of it.
Can you explain why, since you're a doctor, Ocho?
Oh, for claudication purposes, you got your calf muscles nice and tight, like, because it's a skill and not a sport. These people probably need like those compression sleeve socks and whatnot. Stirrups do half of that. But it's also just fancy looking. You got to look the part, man. Jerome Bettis used to say, if you look good, you play good. You look good, you feel good, you play good. Damn it.
Agreed.
There's Deanna.
All right, so
she's doing the hustle.
Deanna's initial question was, I need something. Can you recommend something weaker for me? If you okay, so buy the book, A Hustle Inc., A Hustle Wine, and up here you wrote an MVP Pearl. An MVP is basically a wrecker, which is already kind of low end, but definitely higher performing than its price point. Same exact thing with the Hustle Inc. The Hustle Inc. is one of the best low end balls ever made. The Hustle Wine is definitely making its way up the same way. 3D offsets is very, very strong compared to the other three. What I am noticing the trend of all of your bowling balls here is they're all actually leave the 3D offset alone. Let's just group the other three together. By the book, the weakest ball of those three is supposed to be the Hustle Wine. It's supposed to be weaker than the MVP Pearl, and the Hustle Inc. is supposed to be smoother and less angular than the MVP Pearl. So if you are you specific, or you're not specific to any brand because you have some Hammer in there and you have some Storm, and they're already low end. So I hate to recommend a urethane ball because that's going to just hit the lane and puke. But if you're looking for something that's a little bit more gentle down lane or maybe not so violent, Jesus, this is one of the hardest ones I've ever had to decipher right here because all of these balls already fit the criteria of what a low end ball is. But I also understand that even though the fact that they're low end, they're probably too responsive off the drive, which means they're going haywire whenever she leaks it a little bit.
I got it, Johnny. I got it.
How do we?
I
can solve
this. I can solve this
because you get obviously hear my brain already. It won't stop.
Columbia white dot.
Fucking asshole.
Well, maybe a yellow dot.
I mean,
I knew a guy that averaged 216 with a white dot. He hooked the shit out of it too.
Yeah, they're low end, but the core is strong.
She needs something weaker, so she needs basically not Ocho because Ocho is anything but weak. So
true.
You could try for a Brunswick ball. I would say to drill, like Ray just said, maybe an electrified.
I think the
solid
electrify
number
is probably
one.
the way to go.
Yeah, that's very good.
Another one in the Brunswick brand that might be good is actually the raw hammer, but I would do the solid black one because again, it's a ball that's going to be similar to a Hustle Inc., but it doesn't have as big of an engine inside of it. Numbers on the cover should be similar, and from there you could shine it up or whack it down, even if you need to change it. As far as our brands, I'm drawing a blank.
If this conversation wasn't about
Messenger
bowling and somebody just jumped in, they would say, "What in the blue hell are you guys talking about?"
We're not even talking about the purple hammer yet, either.
Shining up the purple hammer, whacking it down, smack it up, flip it, rub it down. Oh no! It's like like, holy cripes! This is a great conversation. How about the purple surge I was thinking about? Is that a good one?
We're following basically. Ray is on the same page. I just mentioned the Messenger. I mean, the Messenger Solid is the blue one is another one that, again, it's a smaller engine inside the ball. It's not going to be so violent when it changes direction. Keep in mind, Deanna, Storm and Rotogrip products typically are going to skate further down the lane and store a little bit more energy than Brunswick products. Brunswick products typically roll up a little bit sooner. So if you already have, let's say, 3 products, I mean, the purple surge, if you knock the shine off of it, that could work. The raw hammer could work. The Messenger Solid could work. Anything at that price point, but taking the pearlized out of the equation would be beneficial, I would think. Or you drill, basically, you could drill a stronger ball, but just put a super duper weak layout in it. You could put the pin 2 inches from your pap, invert the CG to underneath, or the mass bias underneath your thumb, and kind of just have it hook and quit. You guys are getting all this. You're getting this, right?
I
Absolutely.
got it.
Sherry is answering also. The Shimwrecker is just a really versatile control ball. I don't hook the lane. It reads in the mids, gives me the smooth arc in the pocket. It's just a good benchmark ball. All right, then good. Now I know that's it. Oh, shit.
All right, then good. All right, moving on.
No, now I know, and now it makes perfect sense why it compliments her ghost.
Deanna
Keegan,
said,
I
Grim
don't-
Reaper and the Ghost all in the same one. Son of a
She
bitch.
wants you to
Keegan,
do
I
it,
don't
so.
have any thoughts on the new Zen U other than what I've seen on TV or on the
It's a
on
must
everybody
for your
throwing it on
bag.
social media. And I talked to Anthony Simonson about it at the 777 tournament, and he said it was pretty special that he could curve the whole lane with it. Apparently, it seems to be another awesome urethane product on the market. And you know, I don't want to get shitty here, but just it's
They
just
didn't call it
another
a
attempt.
sim tournament. That would have been
No,
better,
no.
actually.
Called it a bushy tournament. God, I almost said something so shitty that I don't mean, but it actually
Number
holds
14.
water. So I feel like I
Go
want to
ahead.
say it anyway.
Go ahead.
He's asking about the Zen U. I want to say it's another attempt to replicate the greatest. It's another or combat the greatest. It's another attempt to make a ball that's better than the Purple Hammer because we're in the urethane era.
Oh,
everybody's still trying to make a Purple Hammer. So, you know, the same way everybody was stir crazy over the UC3 when it came out, it's still
You
a
make a BB
fantastic
with it.
urethane ball. But when it all boils down to is people throw pitch blacks and they throw Purple Hammers. Everything else, they have to stand the test of time. Every other urethane ball that comes out, man, it's the pitch black and the Purple Hammer. They've been around for years. The pitch black even longer than the Purple Hammer. Next ball, what's number 13? Deanna, I was going to say a twist. Hang on. Sorry, shut up. I was going to say a twist because it's the only low-end bowling ball I've ever thrown that actually does not even attempt to go sideways. It rolls like a dead. It rolls like a resin ball that doesn't have a weight block at all.
Leave it alone. Let him
play it.
talk.
Lower it while I talk. If you can still play it, but at least lower it or play a different section of the song. Anyway, but the black, gold, silver twist, get that one because the blue, silver one or the blue, silver one. Don't get the cotton candy pink bullshit one or whatever other colors we got because those actually rolled like shit. Get the black, gold, and silver one. Number 13?
Number 13.
He's
The
in
Brunswick
zone.
Danger Zone HPC.
Speaking of zone,
Oh my god! I love that I
Not
forget
confused
which
with
one's
the
number.
HPD. Yeah.
Mhm.
why do you want to re-rate this one now or something?
Oh no, I love that I forget where I put him because every time you pop up
You're
the picture,
surprised.
I'm like, oh my god, I remember exactly what I was gonna say from earlier. 'Cause
You're
I
like
didn't write anything down.
orgasmically surprised. This is banging.
Oh, Baxter, you are my little
Little
gentleman.
gentleman, I will take you down to
Again, going back to
Longin Town.
your school days.
So
with
tell
this
us
ball.
all about unless he was watching Anchorman when he bowled a tournament and Danger HPC was his.
No grips. ESPN wanted to interview me for the TV show Scholastic Sports America, so they visited my high school. And they pulled me out of class to go do an interview with ESPN. You want to talk about the greatest day of my life? Everybody was looking. I'm like, ooh.
You look like
Now all of a sudden the
You
fact
didn't
that
screw this up?
now all of a sudden the fact that he bowls doesn't look so bad.
No,
Now
you didn't screw this up. You didn't screw this opportunity up by telling ESPN screw you or something like that, or you rather have like Dan Rather or something. You didn't mess this part up.
No, I did well. They
Yes!
walked in the class. They walked in the classroom and they said, "John, ESPN's here to interview you." And I had to
Sentences
leave.
that normally you hear every day.
Yeah,
Such
and
a
I had to
baller
leave
moment.
my classroom. Yeah, at St. John Vianney in Homedale, New Jersey. And what the hell was I saying? Fuck. See, See what you
ESPN
did?
just interviewed you. What do you mean? How'd you forget
Yeah,
that?
so I'm walking out. I'm like, ooh, all of a sudden everybody's looking at me like, ooh, all of a sudden this bowler's good looking, or ooh, now it doesn't matter that he does theater also, and yeah, blah blah blah. Fine. It was the
And
greatest
they
day
know
of my
you're
life.
not gay now. So, I mean, there's that.
Even if I was, it wouldn't
They
have
didn't
mattered. They're
know.
all still looking at me and wanting me.
didn't
That
know.
made me feel great.
They
Either
didn't know,
way,
but they didn't care.
part of the show or part of the interview was it was like a 5-minute segment on this show, Scholastic Sports America. And my favorite ball at that time was the HPC. It had no grips. It was the best fitting ball I'd ever had up until that time. Second
It was
best.
straight about bowling or about sports also, because I know you were versatile.
It was about bowling and baseball, and
right on.
carrying through with Dad's legacy and things along those lines.
Also, it's a hit piece to keep the pressure on you.
So we go to Strathmore Lanes, right 10 minutes up the road from my high school, which I never really bowled at Strathmore, but I had heard it was a very easy bowling alley. So they came in with the camera crew, and I was about 30 lanes down from any open bowlers. So there's some spectators.
Dude,
And
how nervous are you right now, though? Sir,
I'm
come
not.
on, paint this scene.
I wasn't really. I was because I'm used
Because
to
you're in
TV
your element.
lights.
Like, oh, right,
I'm
that's
used
true,
to TV
too.
lights and cameras. Yeah,
Right,
from Dad.
that's true.
I'm
That's
used
true.
to it at this point. But I'm still obviously. I'm in the bathroom. I'm pumped up. I'm changing. I'm in all black. I got my big silver chain hanging out. I thought it was the shit. I had the black and gold PBA Tour lens on. I think I even wore like a sweatband, or I was wearing like one of those Ace bands around your forearm that did absolutely
what year
nothing.
is this ish?
This is
relate it
junior. This is junior year of high school. So this is
So-
2000, 2001.
Okay. Oh, okay. I got you. So
What up,
it's
Sibo?
brand new. It's Millennium stuff. It's
Yeah.
All right. Yankees were winning everything. I can see the style. So I got you.
So
And
they let
bowling
me.
just got bought out actually too, right? So like
Yes.
bowling become flashy again and what, or not again, but
Yes.
no kidding. Oh, fucking A. Let's go.
So I'm at Strathmore Lanes, and they let me warm up for like 10 minutes or so just to get loose. And I'm throwing that HPC, the Danger Zone HPC, which stands for High Performance Control, in case anybody didn't know. There were three in this line. There was the HPH, HPC, and HPD. The HPH was obviously High Performance Hook.
Thank God there wasn't an
HPD.
HPV.
And then I knew that was coming, and I almost said it when I said anyway. And the HPD was High Performance Distance, and the HPC was Control, and it hooked. It was as angular as the D was, and went longer than the H.
Come on, you can't say it was as angular. Come on, now you're doing that on purpose.
No, I swear to God,
it was not as angular as the D was.
Back to the story. Back to the story about number 13.
Yes. More importantly, stop talking about that.
I'm getting loose, and I realize how easy Strathmore really is, and I can actually get a little bit deeper than I would normally get.
So now you want to show off a little bit. You want this ball to hook, right?
So now I'm really just wailing on it at the bottom, and it's coming back from everywhere. And I think I struck like 14 or 15 consecutive shots on this video. So when you see the live production on ESPN, they show me throw like 8 shots, and they're all different strikes. And there's tomahawk messengers. I mean, it looks like I'm good, like really, really good. And that's my memory of my Danger Zone HPC. Sibo, I love you. You're the best. What do we got for number 12? Oh, in case you are really curious,
can you guys see the
longer than the D?
Rob?
Longer than the D means I like the Danger Zone HPC more than the HPD. I said for me, the HPC went longer than the H, but not as long as the D. But it was still as angular as the D. It was as angular as the D.
For those who hang to the left,
just to clear that one up.
For those lefties,
we got 3 left for today, right? Yeah, 3. Which is perfect timing. I figured
real quick. Let's run through them real quick, because I don't know if people can see them underneath. For those who tuned in late, you're number 20. Go just run through them real quick here.
Yeah, good. Can we still do that, Rob? All right. So number 20, we've got the Avalanche Solid. Number 19 was the Brunswick Command Zone Pearl. Number 18, the stunningly beautiful Brunswick Time Zone. The original Brunswick Siege.
There it is.
The Brunswick Attitude 3. The Brunswick Monster Smash R or Smasher. Do whatever you want with that. I don't care. The Proactive Fuse Eliminator from Brunswick. The Danger Zone HPC or High Performance Control coming in at number 13.
Number 12, the Brunswick Power Blitz Pearl.
Oh, my dear.
Oh, you've been announcing it. Okay.
For anybody that knows who Jeff Mark is, or doesn't, Jeff Mark was the guy behind Extra Frame for a lot of years in the early going of streaming the tournament itself on the PBA Tour. And no longer around, at least no longer doing the commentating. You know, it fed from there. to whatever it went to. But anyway, Jeff Mark was also a master bowling ball driller. And around that time in my life, this is again around that very, very early 2000, finishing, getting out of high school type era. He said, I had explained to him I would always experience hand pain. And he said, well, I'm going to drill you a bowling ball today because nobody drills a bowling ball like me, and you'll never have hand pain again. And he looked at my hand, and he looked at my old shit, and he pulled this Purple Pearl Power Blitz out of the back of the store, and he drilled it for me. No grips, no slug. Now, remember, up until that point, I had never, ever taken a bowling ball in my life, put my hand in it, and said, ooh, this feels good. Always had to work on the thumb, at least, for my entire life up till this point. I walked to the back of that shop, I put my fingers in, I put my thumb in, I said, is this real? Like, this is really possible? It was the greatest feel I've ever had in a bowling ball. And not to mention, it rolled like an absolute dream for me. And when I bowled 879 in Windsor Locks, Connecticut, at good old Bradley Bowl, and then followed up with 250, 260. That was all the Purple Power Blitz. And I just fell in. Everybody, when it comes to the Power Blitz, they all like the Purple Solid. That was always the one that was sought after. It was a big Chris Barnes favorite, and a lot of other top players really liked the solid version of that ball. For me, it looked pretty. It rolled pretty. Another symmetrical pearl that was not entirely too angular. I could hammer it at the bottom. Always create some hold with it. So anytime I have miss room in, that ball is going to be up there in the top 20.
Not to take any of your thunder away, because I'm sure, I mean, you're an amazing bowler, and you were very, very good at that time. But historically, Bradley Bowl was walled up for lefties.
They were lovely. They were absolutely, and I will go back. I loved it there.
You could go back, but now it's a fucking entertainment center.
That's also true.
2 lanes in it, so yeah. Oh, don't even get me started. Yeah, but that's my home house, so yeah, always good memories for me. I think I won my first JBT there. I had like 2 seconds and a third and a first at JBT there. But,
did you have to eat like 20 wings in between each game or something like that in order to be in this tournament or something?
Ouch, I was like fucking 13 years old, man. Don't be a dick.
Oh, don't tell me you didn't know what hot wings were at age 13.
No, if anything, we lived for them even more.
Correct.
Oh.
Number 11
was better.
It was much better, actually, like 130 pounds. So anyway, number 11, the Brunswick Ultimate Inferno.
Holy shit, I had that too.
Can't say enough things about that one, boys. Another multiple drill for me.
Gary Boudreaux gave me a bowling ball.
Oh, yeah. This was, I had 2 of these, and my distinct memory is absolutely destroying Howell Lanes with them in the singles league. This is years ago. But I used that Ultimate Inferno everywhere, man. I even had at least one Ultimate Inferno I brought to college with me when I bowled at Morehead State. That was one of the best balls ever produced. I can't explain it. It was IQ Tour-esque. It was a ball you could use at playing any arrow, any speed. If you threw it straight and topped it like a dreidel, it rolled good. If you threw it 100 miles an hour and curved it, it rolled good. The ball just made sense.
So why don't they still work then? I mean, come on. If it's that good of a bowling ball, I'm sure you could use it on a house.
How good?
A big red wiffle bat, but like, if you bought a new one, or they don't have them anymore, or how does that work?
No, you cease production of products once the technology is obsolete or not keeping up with the times.
Gotcha,
in 1993, everybody wanted the tailor-made bubble driver, right? Everybody wanted that.
The tie bubble 2 became like the freaking. Yep.
They wanted the Nubbins putter with the really, really soft touch. The didn't have the steel insert.
The Bellata ball that before the the Titleist. Oh my god, I can't think of the name of it. What the.
And basically, Oach, what happens is if they were to produce an Ultimate Inferno exactly the same today that they did back then, the only real true difference is the oil that it's on. And there's so much more oil, so much more higher viscosity oils that are used nowadays to combat how strong the technology of the covers are. If you were to drill a brand new Ultimate Inferno and throw it now, it would still hook like a son of a gun, but it would, comparatively speaking, it would hook closer to like Deanna's Arsenal. No, it would hook more like a Hustle Wine.
A weaker ball or something, you're saying, rather than how it used to. Yeah, I got you. But
still,
it's
overall,
right now. It's just a matter of the stronger the ball, the more viscous the oil, and that's just going to keep going and going, I guess.
totally.
Anyways,
But
but yeah, I had that
anybody
one though. That was I don't know if it's good or not. It worked for me because I suck and I still bowled good. So that's how I know.
that ball for this batch of top 10, I would think, based off my bowling knowledge and history and people involved in the game, that would be my pick that I would say the most people would agree with, because anybody that's ever thrown an Ultimate Inferno,
No
whether
one's
they're
ever said, "Oh,
staff,
that ball sucks." See you later.
He didn't like your answer. So, I mean,
Well, so we're talking last week about Rondo, and that's the bowling ball that I said he was. He took a little bevel in my office, and I worked on him, and then he was drilling out or was making my thumb hole. I was like, yeah, something it's just a little tight here, and he grabs this little gimmick and starts hollowing it out little by little by little, and he's like, yeah, put your thumb in here. As I'm like working on his elbow, and I was like, that works good, and then I started killing it, and I was again, I think that was like 04-ish, 05-ish. So, Johnny, what's number 10?
well, hang on. I was going to say the Ultimate Inferno would be the ball that everybody would be in the most agreement about as far as how good it was. And yet, yes, like you said,
That's to say, nobody would say it sucks. And that's the ball I was telling you about last week. Ron Paget, our friend, was in my office hollowing out that thumb gimmick there for me one time.
that was the ball?
That was the ball. I know it was purple.
How cool.
How come I remember that one?
Oh.
I don't know what's in my. I do
Just
know
so-
what's in it. I just don't know who makes them.
Well, just so you know, that ball's blue and red, and it has
It
a
wasn't
yellow.
purple?
It has a yellow logo with orange.
That's kind of purple.
No, the Raging Inferno, which is the one that was right before that or before that, that ball actually was purple.
No, well, that wasn't that. I threw it so good that it was the
I think you had
mixed.
this one, Och. It could have looked purple if you were colorblind. I get it.
No, it was the because I got it from Gary Boudreaux, and I know he used to like that.
Well, he loved the Ultimate Inferno, but you see this logo we have here? You see this lovely purple on the logo right here? This is more like a violet purple.
I threw it so good that the colors matched when it was freaking spinning so damn fast. Probably.
This color ends in purple. All right, we're ready for number 10.
Number 10, and our final ball for this week, the Ebonite Apex Adrenaline.
Yeah, threw a little curveball to all you listeners out there. What's up, Jerry? On number 10,
I got that green bowling ball right there.
I went through a period in my life where I wanted to break the mold. I felt that I was Johnny Petraglia Jr. and not Johnny Petraglia, and obviously this is all old news now, so it's okay to talk about it. I wanted to expand my horizons and test other companies' equipment. And the first ball that I wanted to try was the Apex Adrenaline A, because it was black and pink and had glitter in the shell, but only a little bit of glitter. It was just badass enough. And I just wanted to like it because it was so pretty, and the asymmetric or the mass bias marking was a bomb. And I thought the bomb looked so cool on the bowling ball. And I go out and I'm subbing in a Thursday afternoon league, because I'm there to bowl and sub in the Thursday evening league at 9 p.m. But I'm there and I bowl both shifts. And I go 277, 300, 223, going strike 3-9 spare in the 10th that I had to make for that 223 to shoot my first ever 300 and 800 as an adult. And I did it with that Apex Adrenaline. And it was the first time I'd ever really committed to throwing another company's product. And that
did you feel like you were cheating?
I felt like I was doing something wrong, but I didn't give a fuck.
And then you scored so well. Maybe it calmed you down so much you didn't overthrow it.
When you really, really want something to work, you figure out a way to make it work, whether it's right or not.
Were you hoping this didn't work, but yet there was so good it did work?
Fucking way in hell that I was going to get myself a bowling ball that I was not supposed to have. And I don't even remember how I got it. I don't know if
you were going to make sure no matter what it worked.
Exactly. If it was the worst ball I ever threw, it still would have been in the top 20 tonight, because I did everything to figure out a way to make myself comfortable enough even to throw that ball. So, of course, I have the fucking awesome memory of my first ever adult 300, 800 was with an ebonite ball before it was a brand of Brunswick. I feel better these days now that it is, but
they enveloped it, so that counts technically.
mm-hmm. But,
See, I always threw Brunswick my entire life. I mean, maybe because it was recognizable. As a kid, like Brunswick made lanes, they made all kinds of different things. I mean, they're the Yankees of bowling, to be honest. I mean, it's just everybody knows about Brunswick. I mean, that's just how I felt growing up. So I wanted to have the best equipment, and I felt that it was Brunswick.
I don't think bowling has a Yankee. I think bowling has there's no real assholes in the bowling industry.
They're like the Hamilton Tiger Cats of the Canadian Football League, maybe, because
they're
buying up other companies, just like the Yankees.
I'll give you good
players. He means popularity. I'll
give you my comparison. My comparison would be like Storm Products is Oregon, and they're Oregon because they have a shit ton of fans and a massive fan base. They kicked the shit out of a lot of teams for a lot of years after they relatively didn't really beat a lot of teams. They wear banging, awesome, crazy uniforms every single game. You have no idea what they're going to come out of the tunnel in, right? People crave Oregon, right?
It's going to be a greenery of some type, but it's going to be fluorescent, dark. Right. Is it going to be olive?
Brunswick is state. We are
same thing, no name on the back.
We're true to our thoughts. You don't know necessarily who we are because you already should. We're going to wear these same plain Jane white and with a blue stripe, no shit on our helmets, even though we're the Nittany Lions, so we could have the greatest, most badass logo ever. We're going to make the entire stadium look like this bed sheet and just white it out. They're just kind of by the book. They get shit done. They innovate. Everybody else kind of tries to imitate in some form. That was all. So, and then you have Motive, which is kind of like Boise State, where they kick the shit out of everybody, but they're in the wrong division because of however the fuck it works. So they make their field blue, and they do crazy off the wall plays that make you into them. Everybody's got their own angle that appeals to a different kind of person that's going to come into the sport, but there's no Yankees. There's nobody out there, unless behind closed doors, which we all know happens. There's nobody out there saying, fuck not only everybody else, but fuck our own team also the way Yankees do. Sorry.
That's fair. No, that's fair. See, I took it as popularity, like Ocho said, but I also took it as in later years them just buying up all the other companies, and that's how the Yankees won championships.
Oh no, the Yankees didn't buy them. They didn't buy them to steal the bowling ball market.
No.
They didn't buy them for a championship. They bought them for different reasons. They merged for entirely different reasons, which again, we got to give a Yankee title to somebody. Let's give it to Legends because they wanted to put diamond dust particles in the cover stock and didn't. Or let's give it to Buzzsaw because they're not around. We'll give Buzzsaw
at least the conversation doesn't sound dirty anymore. So now we've come back to our PG rating that we should be.
What's up, Steve? Steve's been so graciously subbing for me on Monday nights. So not only am I actually still competing in my Monday Scratch League, but I'm actually winning points now and bowling some clean games. Thanks, Steve.
And his brother just retired for the Ravens, ex-Steeler offensive lineman Alejandro Villanueva.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Steve Villanueva looks the way I think Villanueva would look. Alejandro Villanueva, I think, if I recall correctly, he looks just like you, right?
Like me?
With a mask and everything.
Yeah. Like jacked and juicy. He's an offensive lineman, so of course he looks like me.
What's up, Troy
What's up,
Lint?
Everyone's showing up late as we're wrapping up, but it's all good.
Right, good night, everybody.
It was a really, really fun show. In case anybody missed it and you want to go back, it'll be on my page. We're going through my top 20 bowling balls of all time for various reasons, but mainly the trips down memory lane that all of them have produced. So we're kind of sharing them. Again, we went through the first 10 this week. We're going to go back through the final 10 and my top 10 personally next week on same time, same place. So
I'll give Rob, a top 3 or something
and
like that
Oach,
too.
I'm going to pass this back to you. I totally hijacked this one. I had a feeling it might go this way, and I'm sorry about it.
It's your show.
Well, hang on then. In that case, Troy, Nothing, man. I have a compressed disc in my L7 weenie, or what is it? It's 11
You just got
millimeters.
that from Sandlot. You got that from the Sandlot.
Yeah,
You
dumpster
fucking
dog.
weasel.
A weenie.
An
Oh.
L7 loser.
As I
It's
leave
your
my episode.
L5S1 disc. Now what happened? What's he doing? Is he just
Anyway,
snacking
my
things?
back.
Oh
my back
God.
is compressed. My 11 millimeters into my nerves. So I've been down and out for the count for about 3 weeks now. So got my epidural coming next week. If that doesn't take, I'm gonna have to have surgery. But I'll keep you
Well,
posted.
they'll
Thank you
probably
for
do a
asking.
series of 3 of them. They'll do one, see how it is. If it works even 30%, they're gonna do another one.
All
Is that
right.
me?
Well, that was me. I said cripes.
Oh, that's okay. Never mind. And then I thought it was a recording that Radical Robert had on his gimmick. And then they'll do a third one if need be. They don't want to cut. You shouldn't need to cut yet. No cutting.
No cutting.
All right, guys, that wraps it up for this week. Next week, we'll be going through 9 through 1 of Johnny's favorite top 20 balls in the last 25 years, or in the last,
9 through 1 is 9 bowling balls.
We did 20 through
we
10.
We did 20 through 11.
Well, we got the
No, we
top. We did 20 through 10 today.
We did 20 through 10, you idiots, and 20 through 11. What the fuck?
That's okay. We'll reopen with
we'll
you.
be doing the final
We'll do
ball.
10. We'll do 10 through 1. Thank you, Steve. We'll do 10 through 1
and then
next
we'll
week.
make one a 0.
Everybody got a
All
tidbit
right,
of the number
recap.
10 was in. Yeah, good. Sounds good.
Make one a 0. Oh, that's good shit. Johnny, we love you. You're beautiful, even though you're not that smart. I'm just kidding. I'm just busting
He's
your
wicked smart.
Just busting your 10 balls.
Our producer.
Rochelle tells me all the time. So it's okay.
Ocho, what's your Twitter handle?
I don't know.
At the DR Ocho. Johnny P is at JPJR07. I am at Rad. God damn.
Hijacking the show. Johnny wanted to do it.
No, I don't care. I'm good.
Oh, fuck him.
I am at Rad Rob Gaming on Twitter and Instagram. If you guys missed this show, you can check it out, the replay here on Johnny Petraglia's Facebook page, or subscribe to our YouTube channel, Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. You can check out all of our archives there. And if you want to listen to the audio version, if you're on the way to work or on the treadmill or doing whatever, you can follow us, you can subscribe to our podcast on all podcast platforms. Ocho, where can they actually find this podcast?
So I bowled a 692 last week. It was an off week for Ocho. I get it. And here's why.
Nice bowling, bro.
Appreciate it. It was okay.
Yeah.
And so I'm reaching in the ball return because I used 30-pound bowling balls. The ball got stuck. Found a podcast.
No shit. Which one?
A good one, actually. It wasn't this one.
Okay.
Can't remember, though. I subscribed to it.
So you can literally find our podcast anywhere.
Anywhere. In a ball return, under a fridge, in the pool. Even if the pool's covered, check the filter. You got to bleed the lines first. Get all the podcasts out of the lines.
It's a lot of information. This is good.
That's what we do. We provide information. We're a self-help group. And
ladies, take your screenshots now. Don't tell your husbands or show your husbands. Say, husbands, why don't you have this or these? Husbands, I don't like dad bods. I like Ocho bods. Screenshot this and then go bowl and think of this. Ow.
I like it.
Guys, we'll see you next week for another edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. Thanks for showing up.
What up, Ray?
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And
rewind. It was a great show, bro. We'll talk soon. Love you, dude.